Hello, everybody. It's your boy WEEZYFMAMBA, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys once again so much for being here. We really appreciate it. On today's video, we're going to go ahead and ranking the Saw franchise, film franchise, in a tier list. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally reached the Saw series, as it has taken second place in our previous 4 polls each time. We have absolutely been wanting to do this franchise for a long time in a tier list ranking. But you guys' votes are what I do next. So it took second place, man. So if we've already finished the Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. So if you want to check out those tier list videos, they are already uploaded to the channel as well. Be sure to check them out. We're going to go ahead and rank Saw from the latest release all the way back to the original. I always go backwards. It's just something I like to do. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Pop off. Let's go ahead and pop on over to the Saw franchise. Let me blow this up a little bit more for you. Look at all these dumb ads, man. What the hell, tier list maker? What are you doing to me, man? Okay, get up out of here. Okay, so we have the next tier list here, and let's start with Saw X. Now, with Saw X, recently released, of course, and it is, you know, like I said, it's S tier, dude. This is one of those S tier films. Saw X came back with a vengeance, being able to truly capture the presence of Jigsaw, aka Tobin Bell. This was a refreshing reintroduction to the franchise, considering that Jigsaw was mid as fuck, and then Spiral was a whole different thing. We'll get to that here shortly. But it was just bringing back Jigsaw, obviously in prequel form. This is a prequel film, but it's also done tastefully correct, like the original trio. It just had that oomph, dude, of why this torture, coming of age, learning your lesson, message that we really got with the original 3, and it felt kind of cheesy towards the middle of the pack. So you guys, again, we'll get to those in a second, but to me, Saw X was performed perfectly, again, giving Tobin Bell more screen time. I think this actually might be the film that he has the most screen time in, if I am not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Jesus Christ, Tobin Bell, even though these movies are Saw, these aren't winning Oscars, okay? But Tobin does, nobody else could ever do this. If they ever make a Saw movie without Tobin's at least voice or likeness, it'll never work, dude. So again, he just killed it. The kills were insane. The traps were insane, I should say, not the kills. The traps were absolutely top tier. Not the best. We have a movie that will have all the best traps for sure, and I can't wait. Okay, S tier. Moving on to Spiral. I think it's called Spiral, from the Book of Saw. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. First off, Chris Rock was the absolute worst casting for this job. Samuel L. Jackson, incredible casting. Of course, he fits the Saw bill. But Chris Rock is more of a comedian than Samuel L. Jackson, even though Samuel L. Jackson's been in some funny parts. But Chris Rock was so bad in this movie to me that, oh man, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I'm probably going to get flack for this. There's probably some Spiral lovers out there, and I do want to put it in C tier. So I'm bouncing back and forth while I give this review. But it's just not the way that it was supposed to be. Again, to me, um, it was predictable. The silly ending. It was just, oh God, man. It was just so bad, dude. And of course, they implemented a lot of things that like, um, you know, talked about like police brutality and racism and stuff like that. And of course, that stuff we have to touch on. But it's what really kind of took away from the film and the franchise itself and that feel that you feel. It felt more like a cop movie than it did us trying to catch this killer. It felt like it focused more on the son father relationship, which of course is important. Don't get me wrong, but it just it was a corny slasher comedy, right? Like that's that's what it is. There was just so many things that it could have gone in the direction it was, and I can't put this in seats here just because of Samuel L. Jackson and the traps. So there we are. Okay. Jigsaw. God, man. See you later, dude. Jigsaw, bottom of the barrel. We do have another film that's gonna get there for you. This was just a different feel, man. The soft reboot, essentially. Jigsaw coming back. I think it was 7 years since Saw 3D. Yeah, Saw 3D was 2010. Jigsaw was 2017. We bring back, but it's just unlikable fucking characters in a barn. Again, group traps always felt good, especially with Saw 3D and Jigsaw, but Saw 2. But this one was just so bad. I don't understand. Maybe it was the barn. It was too lit. It was too, the trap seemed easily get outable. They were fucking giant pussies when it came to a bunch of shit. And I know I'm saying this sitting behind a computer screen, and if like I was ever in a Saw trap, I would probably not try and, you know, rip limbs off or whatever. But it's just so bad, dude. And again, what is it? The rustic barn, you know what I mean? And to me, these traps were kind of boring. Simple. Okay. And the question that I always brought up is, with Jigsaw being introduced, like 2017 Jigsaw, the film, how many fucking apprentices does this man have? Do you know what I mean? Like it just became such a trope at this point, and it was just so bad for me. I am not a big fan of Jigsaw. Not a big fan. Saw 3D. Let's move on to, I guess they call it the final chapter. Again, 3D. The movie starts out awesome. It's C tier. This is mid. The movie starts out awesome, right? I think this was the, let me think. This was the public trap, which has not been done before. The public trap. Yes. And Saw 7. Okay. The public trap, which again, you guys saw, it was like two people that were in a glass box placed in like fucking, I don't know, Times Square or whatever, some form of park. And it was just, from that point, we're like, oh shit, this movie's about to be fire. Lit as fuck. Starts out so good and falls flat, even in the middle act, let alone the end. It just, oh, dude, you know, the gimmick of 3D, again, the traps were so good. It's what carried this film. But again, it's just, to me, it was all about, the, the introduction, and then just unlikable characters and just traps for the rest of the film. Again, it's just something to me, Saw 3D, that was not good, but the traps carried the film. Okay, for sure. For me, what's next here? Saw 5. No, Saw 6. Saw 6. Saw 6. Yes. Let's see, what year did this come out in? 2009. This one actually was pretty good because it finally gets rid of the priorness, where we have the death of fucking let me rephrase. Let me start over. Saw 6. Okay, Saw 6 was, to me, this might still be C tier, yo. I'm not gonna lie here. Let's get that here. Saw 6. Again, we're moving past, or finally getting to like the latter half of Hoffman's reign, is what we're gonna call this section of, Saw 4, 5, and 6, and it's just, to me, was again carried pretty well. Saw 6 features one of the best traps in the entire series. The spinning merry-go-round, again, with the shotgun blasts. I love that end of the film. Super good. But again, the the traps really carried this film once again. I just hated fucking Hoffman, man. I really hated Hoffman, and I hope that you guys understand that, because it's just, he was just boring to me, dude. I mean, it wasn't believable. I wish there was maybe it's the way he looked. Honestly, the actor. I don't know what it was. No offense to him personally. I just didn't believe him, like, at all. And the twists, kind of corny. Again, Saw 6 just brings those traps back, and it's just super nice. In the gore department, but other than that, really, the middle of this franchise really took a hit, man, for real. As far as quality of film. And speaking of the absolute worst film in the series, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached Saw 5. Saw 5 brings in the brand new director, David Hackle. And again, to me, it's just was so poorly done. The cat and mouse game between Hoffman and Detective Strom, they were just so bad. It was like, I don't know how to explain it. It was bland. It was bland, and just, it was so cliche, dude. Cliche. The box kill, right? I mean, it's literally on the cover. You guys see, with water in it and a key. Like, it felt like a magic trick. This was a lazy trap design. The traps, by far the worst in this film, to me, and it just was terrible, man. It just was terrible. So, yeah, here we are, dude. The worst film in the franchise, Saw 5. Stop with Hoffman. Detective Strong, again, all of this pack really sucks, dude. It really fucking sucked. So here we go. Moving on to Saw 4, and we get our first B tier. Saw 4, once again, kind of out here with some greatness. Okay, not quite A tier, but not bad. Saw 4 with the first film that he is orchestrating these traps and from beyond the grave, right? Saw 3, we saw the death of Jigsaw, and honestly, to me, it's just super good. What really made this funny, again, Donnie Wahlberg, one of my favorite entrances into this series. Donnie fucking Wahlberg, aka Detective Eric Matthews, who, by the way, is the name of the older brother in Boy Meets World. That always stuck with me. Eric Matthews, dude. Eric Matthews. So I love that. Huge Boy Meets World fan. Again, Strom, before the awfulness of part 5, we still have Detective Hoffman, but this really was the introduction of Hoffman. This was right before we get too crazy, in the sense of Hoffman just being this diabolical fucking mastermind, who was basically a copycat instead of an apprentice. He was trying to be his own Jigsaw. And it was good. The film, again, one of the best kills or traps in the series, man. The fucking ice blocks. You guys know the deal. The ice blocks with one of the most wild endings to a film. Again, truly believable characters of Donnie Wahlberg, aka Eric Matthews. And it just was good. And he was Detective Eric Matthews. So to me, Saw 4 brought what we thought was going to be a great middle act and continuation before it just fell the fuck off. So yeah. Saw 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Saw 3. It's official, man. This is probably going to be very controversial. But Saw 3 is by far the best film in the franchise. It's nastier, gorier, more disgusting, better traps, risky way to take your franchise and kill off Jigsaw. I applauded them. After a trilogy, we knew how many movies that all these previous horror titles have made. 19 fucking Friday films, 37 Nightmare films, 612 Halloween films. Like, we had so many. And then Jigsaw, like, oh, you know what? Third one, let's kill off our main fucking protagonist, right? Our antagonist. And so at this point, I'm like, dude, well, some would consider him the protagonist, by the way. But again, the Amanda storyline really kind of finishing in fruition. Amanda, Surgeon Lynn was her name. And then of course, Lynn's husband, right? Jeff. Again, this was like that first completion of a game at the same time. It was just so much better than life or death tests with Jigsaw's victims. You know what I mean? It was more of them trusting Jigsaw as a person, really, because all these other films, you kind of make it to the point. You kind of make it to the point of Jigsaw's just, they paint him as, you know, he's evil, right? He's an evil man. And he's playing these games with these people, but Jigsaw is actually the hero in the Saw franchise. People need to understand that. And it was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The torture devices in this film, the traps, by far the best traps in the movie. Not the best trap. The best trap is coming up, but absolutely on all other accords, this movie was above and beyond the first two films, and it hasn't been replicated since. Okay, and without Saw 3 finding, you know, that sweet spot, the perfect spot of like psychological horror, psychological drama, and with torture, torture P-word, you guys know what I'm talking about. Don't want YouTube to trip. Here we are, dude. So for sure. Next is going to be Saw 2, and Saw 2 once again is going to be S tier for me. And it is above Saw X. And Saw 2 again was the first time that the sequel, right? It introduced the gang, a group trap. And this was fucking awesome. Again, bringing in Donnie Wahlberg. To me, it was just so good. So good. Okay. And to me, this was just perfect. So again, it's not quite Saw 3, but Saw 2 with the traps. The characters were so likable in this film. Even the douchebag. We all know the douchebag in this movie. And I love group setting fucking horror films. outside of Jigsaw, right? Fuck Jigsaw. But group setting horror films, it felt comfortable. I felt more comfortable with multiple people trying to put their brains together and figure out. It's basically like an escape room, dude. And kind of popularized the escape rooms that we go to now for fun. You know what I mean? Less dangerous escape rooms. Obviously Amanda. What was it? Oh man, this fucking movie had two of the traps that were the worst. The syringes, by far the worst trap for me of all time. The syringe pit, and then the ones where you're reaching in, the box. You guys know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus Christ. Absolutely incredible film, dude. This really started that series. Like, you know, like, okay, we could do this, dude. We can make multiple Saw films. And then obviously the original, ladies and gentlemen, popping off. The original is number 2 for me. So it goes 3, 1, 2, 4, or 3, 1, 2, 10 in S tier. And then the rest of the bottom of the barrel, dude. For me, Saw 1 obviously started it all. Carrie Elwes, one of my all-time favorite actors. The Princess Bride, Glory, many others, including the fuck you monster twist at the end of this film that I never saw coming, and I predict everything. The monster twist, and of course, the performance of Tobin Bell, and the fact that this almost kind of was a group one again. We had a couple of people in a bathroom, the terror of this bathroom, setting off this type of horror film and franchise of, yes, we can get away with torture films here in America. Let's continue to make these, which led on to multiple other films being made. Saw really put the torture P word on the map. And there's a lot of people that love that kind of shit. This is mindless entertainment, dude. To me, I don't really care about all the crazy fucking M. Night Shyamalan twists that we had in the middle of the pack. I love the intros and the kills and the gore and stuff like that. This really, really started the thing. Saw 3 did it all better in that sense. But the original is the original. So this is once again something that you really kind of have to play into effect. James Wan, of course, launching the career of James Wan as a director who went on to direct and produce things such as The Conjuring and other films. Again, becoming that series, I think it was Insidious, right? Insidious and Conjuring. You know, it's just what it is, dude. It's that fear of the tape recorder and that somebody is capable of this. And remember, in the first movie, before the first film, or before the end of the first film, we didn't know that this was somebody trying to really, you know what I mean? Like, we just thought he was fucking around and being a torturer and like, you know, a psychotic psychopath. But it more or less lined up for Jigsaw to become not the villain, but the hero in this franchise and saving people's lives by giving them a choice. And so that's what I really enjoyed about this film. The twists are always great. The stories are great. Listen, I know that Saw 5 is terrible, but if it's on the TV and I'm bored, I'm still going to watch it, because these movies, regardless of the storyline at the end of the day and the corniness and cheesiness of Detective Hoffman, I think that I am okay with just watching gore, dude. I love it. So here we are. That's my franchise tier list ranking of the Saw films. I really suck at making these because it's been so long since I've watched all these movies, and I don't do like epic rewatches before them. I'm just kind of going based off memory. So if I fumble or anything like that, just please understand. It's been forever since I've really saw these, and I'm ranking them based off my memory. So to me, it's okay. These are more real for me anyways. So just remember that. Anyways, moving on to the next video. Whenever we post the next poll, make sure to vote Thank you guys once again. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. Where do you put your Saw film franchise ranking? And of course, don't forget to drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. That way, you guys get notified every time I go live here on YouTube, over on Twitch, and anytime that I bring you brand new horror content. I love you guys very much. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace out.